We're here with Ykal. She's the founder of Friends of Lake Turkana group that started to fight for the protection of the lake and the local population. She's also Goldman Prize winner for Africa 2012. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Ykal, what's the situation of the Lake Turkana and the people who live along the River Omo after 8 years from the foundation of your organization?
Because of the fact that the issues that we are fighting against have not yet started to show its impacts, and it's, the construction of the Gibe 3 Dam has taken over 8 years and is now starting to fill up, the actual impact on the communities hasn't started being felt. I think the one thing that we have to recognize is that communities are more informed of their environment, of development plans by governments, regional development plans that impact them. But in terms of the actual impacts of whether it's reduced water flow or otherwise, has not changed. The only problem has been that in Ethiopia, because of the development, communities are being forced into villages because the kind land use that they have is free range land, and now the government is forcing them to move away from their lands and stay in villages because the government is, apart from building the Gibe 3 Dam, the Ethiopian government is also trying to do large sugarcane and cotton plantations that in many aspects is taking away land from communities and what communities are fighting against. So within the lake, in Kenya now, we haven't seen the impacts of the Gibe 3 Dam yet because they haven't really started filling it up, and so we are waiting to see what that means, but at the same time engaging our government to make sure that the filling up process really takes into account the impacts that it would have downstream.
Your experience can be of inspiration in some ways to other similar problems that we are experiencing in other parts of the world. How can we defend the rights of minorities from the construction of big works with high environmental and social impact?
I think a lot of this developments are in developing countries, and yet the investors are from the developed countries. And so one of the things we are learning to do is, one, make sure that the communities and minority communities are part of the struggle. And so we're not defending it for them, but we are defending it with them. And so taking that into account, making the communities, the minority communities, be part of the whole struggle and informing them and making sure that they have a voice, creating platforms for them, working with, understanding that it is not a local issue, it is a global issue, and linking local to national, regional, and global, and really trying to make sure that communities are well informed to be part of the struggle, but also to create platforms for communities to really raise their own voices across the world. And knowing that the struggle, if you started as an individual, you gain strength and you get comradeship from others across the world and work together to make sure that it is the issues of communities and minority communities at that are able to be highlighted at a national, local, national, and a global level.
When did you decide to dedicate your life to protect the environment and small communities?
I think for a long time it's always been there, coming from a small community, being part of a conflict situation, realizing that conflicts among communities is not only about their need to get into conflict, but it's really related to their natural resources and their environment. And so having grown up in an environment that's so conflict and communities fighting for grazing lands, water, pasture, land, realized that it was part of the issues that I dealt with as a child growing up, but more really got into it after my undergraduate degree. When I finished my undergraduate degree, came into contact with mothers dying and leaving their young babies, and realized that until we are able to use the knowledge that we have to work with communities, then it was important for us to appreciate that all this conflicts that we were looking at within our local communities was linked to a need to ensure that the environment was sustainable, that communities realized that they could use their natural resources to better their lives and they could share it among themselves.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.